Kim prepared for battle. He made a bold declaration. He would win this fight in 5 seconds. The main quest activated instantly. The gathering students thought Kim had lost his mind. Claiming victory against the school's undefeated leader seemed impossible enough, but in 5 seconds seemed truly insane. Kim reassured himself, trusting in his card's abilities. His initial strategy, landing a jab and following up, failed completely. After dodging Kim's first attack, Hajuin mockingly announced that 5 seconds had already passed. Undeterred, Kim continued his assault. Hajuin effortlessly evaded every single strike. The spectating students began to reconsider their assumptions as the fight intensified. When Kim paused to catch his breath, Hajuin struck him in the gut. Down on his knees, Kim faced Hajuin, his voice breaking as he repeated his 5-second victory claim. Hajuin slapped him to the ground, asking if he really thought he could win with just jabs. Kim recalled questioning himself the previous night about this very thing. Even with increased strength, victory through a single attack seemed nearly impossible. The new card's 5-second strength boost would have been more useful as a direct defensive ability. But there was no time for regrets. He had to work with what he had. Kim knew he had one chance to use the additional strength, and only for 5 seconds. He decided to wait for the perfect opening before activating it. Running straight at Hajuin earned him another punch to the face. Kim screamed 5 seconds. Using his high-pitched ability, Hajuin slammed him down again. This time, Kim grabbed Hajuin's shirt and positioned himself at his side. He activated the Bean of Recovery. The crowd tried to intervene, seeing Hajuin's murderous rage. When Hajuin tried to push Kim away, he found Kim's grip unnaturally strong. Kim had activated the additional strength card. The card increased his weight by 100 kilograms, bringing his total to 156 kilograms. Hajuin found himself unable to move. Kim began counting down from 5, marking the duration of his enhanced strength. At 4, he lifted Hajuin off the ground. At 3, he slammed Hajuin down, shocking everyone present. Kim removed his jacket. He mounted Hajuin and began throwing punches with his 156 kilograms of force. The blows came relentlessly until the strength enhancement expired. Finally, Hajuin admitted defeat. The main quest completion notification appeared just as Kim collapsed. Every student stood in stunned silence, except for Kuza, whose eyes showed pride. Kim had earned the platinum card. He immediately claimed his reward. Days passed, and Hajuin hadn't returned to school since the incident. Students continued discussing the fight, while Hajuin's classmates speculated about his absence. At the school gate, someone announced the arrival of the school's new leader. Kim Soo-hyun walked through the halls with a confident posture, still bewildered by his changed circumstances. He continued his daily routine, forever changed by the battle with Hajuin. In the washroom, Kim revealed his platinum card. It turned out to be a peeking ability, allowing him to check others' stats. Initially, Kim couldn't grasp its usefulness. He left the washroom to join Kuza. Their new status felt burdensome to both of them. Rumors spread wildly about both Kim and Kuza. Some claimed Kim had sent Hajuin to the ICU. Others insisted he had attacked Hajuin's father. The truth was simpler. Hajuin was fine, just avoiding school. About Kuza, the rumors grew even more outlandish. Some claimed he was 48 years old, while others insisted he was a Yakuza's son. As they walked together, Kim accidentally bumped into Lee Hyundong, the first-year student's leader. Lee Hyundong nervously asked if he was really facing Kim Soo-hyun. Kim confirmed his identity, prompting Lee and his friends to bow deeply in greeting. Surprised, Kim questioned why first-year students were showing such deference. Lee explained that it was natural for juniors to show respect to seniors, especially to the new leader of West Gangbuk High School. Kim tried to dispel their misunderstanding, insisting he had no intention of becoming the school leader. His denial frightened the freshmen away, their faces showing clear disappointment. Kuza explained that these students used to follow Hajuin, who generally ignored them as annoyances. These freshmen had a specific goal they wanted to achieve. When Kim inquired about their objective, Kuza revealed their ambition to unite Gangbuk. The 4 most powerful schools in Gangbuk existed in a state of division. It was essentially a battlefield, one that Hajuin had shown no interest in controlling. Lee Hyundong, however, possessed the opposite mindset. He desperately wanted to unite Gangbuk under Kim's leadership. Kim couldn't comprehend the motivation behind such unification efforts. He resolved to distance himself from these seemingly delusional students. All Kim wanted was a peaceful school life, but the system had other plans. A second main quest appeared, offering an unknown reward. The quest consisted of 3 parts, beginning with winning over the West Gangbuk High School freshmen. Trapped by the quest requirements, Kim had no choice but to comply. He approached the freshman and claimed his earlier dismissal was merely a test. He declared his true intention was to take over West Gangbuk High School. The freshman rejoiced while Kim's heart sank. Back in class, shivers ran down his spine as he contemplated his actions. He reminded himself that all this was in pursuit of a peaceful life. Realizing he hadn't yet used his new, peaking ability, Kim felt frustrated that the freshman had consumed his entire day. Suddenly, Baek Jae-rin called out to him from behind. She questioned him about the rumors of his plans to take over West Gangbuk and unite the area. Kim began to deny the rumors but found his gaze locked on Jae-rin. She felt uncomfortable under his intense stare. Unknown to her, Kim had activated his peaking ability, targeting Jae-rin. A graph appeared, displaying her attributes: strength, intelligence, speed, endurance, and potential. Her strength rating of E surprised him, being lower than expected. All her abilities fell below his expectations. Jae-rin grew increasingly offended by his silent staring. Kim turned the ability on himself, discovering his own strength and speed at E rank, while his intelligence and potential ranked B. Jae-rin eventually left the classroom in frustration. Kim continued pondering the implications of the stat system. Though initially seeming ordinary, the peaking ability showed promise as a valuable tool. Outside class, Kim found himself surrounded by protective freshmen. Lee insisted everyone was happy with Kim's leadership, though Kim knew better. Lee presented a blood-stained envelope containing that month's protection money. Kuza quickly concealed the envelope, but Kim demanded its return. Misinterpreting Kim's refusal as having higher standards, Lee promised to bring more money. Kim checked Lee's stats, noting strong attributes but an F in potential, marking him as a true gangster. Despite trying to leave, Lee pursued Kim about holding a leadership inauguration ceremony. The second part of the main quest conveniently updated to require Kim's participation in this ceremony. Fighting back tears, Kim agreed solely to complete the quest. The freshmen cheered enthusiastically as Kim walked away. The inauguration ceremony commenced with all the pomp and circumstance of a royal coronation. Important students from every grade level bowed deeply before Kim and Kuza, their faces a mix of respect and fear. The system chimed softly, announcing the completion of the second part of the quest, though Kim barely registered it through his discomfort. While Kuza embraced his new role with surprising enthusiasm, playing the part of a proper gangster boss, Kim struggled to maintain his composure. Lee Hyundong stepped forward to begin the briefing, his voice carrying the weight of historical significance as he explained how Gangbuk had descended into chaos. The root of the current strife, he explained, lay with Johan Song, the legendary figure who had once united all of Gangbuk under a single banner. When Johan abandoned his position, the carefully maintained peace shattered, plunging the region into a state of constant warfare. Lee's voice grew tense as he described the current leaders of the rival schools. Starting with the ruler of East Gangbuk High. The East leader had undergone a disturbing transformation after gaining power, earning a reputation as a genuine psychopath among his peers. South Gangbuk High's situation proved more subtle but equally concerning. Their leader maintained the facade of a model student, but whispers spoke of hidden depths and secret influences. His outward kindness masked an unknown power that held absolute sway over his student body. Kim listened to these explanations with growing frustration, finally interrupting to ask the obvious question. Why not just call the police when things get out of hand? He demanded, his voice tinged with exasperation. We're just high school students. Shouldn't we be living normal, peaceful lives? Lee's response caught Kim off guard as he revealed that the other school's leaders had already taken notice of Kim. Rumors were circulating about runner Kim Soo-hyun, the fearsome warrior who had massacred his enemies while wearing a simple running shirt. Kim's jaw dropped as he processed this information, demanding to know who would spread such ridiculous stories. Lee proudly admitted his responsibility, explaining that he had fabricated the tales to build Kim's reputation among their rivals. Cursing under his breath, Kim stormed away from the gathering. He issued a final order forbidding them from following him, declaring his intention to return to normal classes. When Lee mentioned the upcoming Gangbuk meeting, Kim's immediate rejection was absolute. He wanted nothing to do with it. That evening at home, Kim tried to lose himself in television when his sister burst in with an odd question. She demanded to know why her seniors were asking if she was related to the infamous runner Kim Soo-hyun. Kim assured her he had handled the situation, internally rejoicing at his freedom from both the gangbuk meeting and his unwanted leadership role. Meanwhile, across town in a bowling alley, Han Jae-ha, the feared leader of East Gangbuk, demonstrated his infamous temper. He viciously beat one of his subordinates for merely mentioning that Ha-jun had fallen to runner Kim Soo-hyun. In another part of town, Kang-suk, South Gangbuk's enigmatic leader, received the same news with calculated interest. He expressed a desire to see this runner Kim Soo-hyun for himself at the upcoming beach meeting. Lee Hyundong's worried pacing was interrupted by an unexpected phone call from Kim. The call shocked him, giving Kim's explicit instructions not to contact him further. Unknown to Lee, Kim had just received the third mission of his main quest: attend the gangbuk meeting. The reward, 1 gold card and 10 bronze ones, brought tears to Kim's eyes as he asked Lee about the meeting details. Lee's surprise was evident as he confirmed Kim's interest, given his earlier adamant refusal. Kim vaguely mentioned circumstances, mostly muttering to himself about the rewards. Lee, overhearing Kim's acceptance, immediately began planning the extensive preparations needed. When Kim inquired about these preparations, Lee remained mysteriously silent. The following day, Kim put his new peeking ability to extensive use, examining everyone at school. He quickly discovered an unexpected side effect. His targets could sense his observation, experiencing an uncomfortable feeling of exposure. The ability he learned functioned similarly to his jab skill, with levels that increased by 1 point for every 2 people he examined. His curiosity about what might happen when the ability reached E rank was interrupted by a startling discovery about Kuza. His friend possessed an S rank in potential. After school, Kim and Kuza prepared for the gangbuk meeting with very different attitudes. Kim planned a simple strategy: claim his reward and make a quick escape. While he hoped for a smooth execution of this plan, Kuza's ominous prediction suggested things wouldn't be so simple. They found Lee waiting with a group of volunteer freshmen, all pledging their loyalty and readiness for any situation. Kim firmly rejected their offer of assistance, ordering them to return home. He insisted that only he, Kuza, and Lee would attend the meeting. As the trio departed for their destination, the scene shifted to a dingy bar across town. There, Han Jae-ha of East Gangbuk demonstrated his violent nature once again, beating a hapless victim until his subordinate reminded him of the impending gangbuk meeting. Kim and Lee arrived at the designated meeting site, an abandoned construction project that had become a haven for shadowy dealings. Kim had braced himself for an intimidating welcome from dangerous characters, but instead found himself greeted by the surprisingly cordial students of South Gangbuk. Despite their pleasant demeanor, Lee whispered an urgent warning to Kim about their leader. He cautioned Kim not to lower his guard, suggesting that among the 3 leaders, the South's ruler might be the most dangerous. The South Gangbuk students eagerly sought their leader's opinion of Kim Soo-hyun. Kang-suk, misinterpreting Kim's presence as a provocation, shared this misconception with his followers. Kim found himself puzzled by Kang's reputation for danger, as the leader appeared quite ordinary. His focus kept drifting to the incomplete quest, anxiously awaiting the arrival of the final school's representatives. The promise of 11 new cards tantalized him as he waited. Finally, Han Jae-ha made his entrance, and the system immediately registered the quest's completion. With his reward secured, Kim attempted to make a discreet exit. Han's hand shot out, catching Kim by the neck and demanding to know his destination. Han declared that Kim was the reason for his attendance, demanding to know how he had defeated Ha-jun. He challenged Kim to defeat him as well. Kim maintained a knowing smirk, understanding that any show of resistance would trigger a new quest. To prevent this, he remained perfectly still, showing no intention of fighting Han. His unexpected display of fearless composure stunned the onlookers. Kang-suk's associates interpreted Kim's behavior, first provoking their leader, then standing unflinching before Han Jae-ha, as signs of the runner's cunning nature. Meanwhile, Kang-suk harbored his own schemes. He had planned to wait for Han Jae-ha and Kim to exhaust themselves fighting, then strike both weakened opponents. His strategy was thwarted when an East Gangbuk member intervened, pulling Han aside. The member warned Han about future opportunities to fight Kim, revealing Kang-suk's opportunistic intentions. He identified Kang Suk as the real threat in their midst. Han Jae-ha, catching sight of Kang's malevolent grin, understood the warning's truth. He released Kim, and Kang Suk officially concluded the meeting. Kim's relief at avoiding conflict was amplified by his acquisition of 11 new cards. Before departing, he attempted to peek at the two leaders' abilities. The system denied his request, indicating his peaking rank was insufficient for such powerful targets. The following day, Kim arrived at school exhausted from the previous night's events. He had spent the entire night sleeping, too tired to even examine his new cards. Upon entering school grounds, he was met by bowing freshmen who praised his supposed achievements at the meeting. Kim learned that Lee Hyundong had spread another rumor, claiming he had defeated Han Jae-ha in combat using his mysterious fighting technique. Despite Kim's attempts to correct this falsehood, the freshman refused to believe his denials. Later, Kim retreated to the infirmary, suffering from fever and body aches. The strain of fighting and the mental pressure of controlling West Gangbuk had taken their toll. Unable to leave school early as he once did, he took advantage of the privacy to examine his new cards. He started with the gold card, which revealed itself as Card Master, granting him the ability to merge or break cards at will. He then revealed all the bronze cards simultaneously, most proving mediocre. Kim selected a card that increased strength at the cost of reducing intelligence by 3 ranks, accepting the trade-off. Using Card Master, he began combining bronze cards. His first merger of 2 bronze cards produced a silver attack card, granting him a straight punch ability similar to his jab. After several combinations resulting in 2 unremarkable silver cards, Kim decided to merge them into a gold card. The result was a gold sports card titled Master Please. Despite its sporting designation, it revealed itself as a combat card with an unusual effect. Good things would happen after the user was hit 5 times. Kim attempted to test the card by slapping himself, but nothing occurred. Kim realized why the card hadn't activated self-inflicted pain wouldn't work. As the card's name, Master Please, suggested, one had to be dominated like a slave for the effect to trigger. While contemplating this, the system generated a new main quest. Kim's excitement peaked at the prospect of earning new cards. The mission was straightforward. Recruit 4 crew members at school, with a gold card as the reward. Considering the quest, Kim spotted Kuza and immediately asked him to join his crew. Distracted by his phone, Kuza absently agreed. The system officially registered Yongguk Yakuza as Kim Soo-hyun's first crewmate. When Lee appeared, Kim quickly extended the same invitation. Lee dropped to his knees in formal greeting, but this display made Kim pause. He realized he couldn't just recruit anyone. He needed loyal and useful allies. Apologetically, Kim asked Hyundong to forget his offer and left with Kuza. Later, Kim lay on a park bench, contemplating his quest to find suitable crewmates. He decided to use his peaking ability to assess potential candidates' strengths. Baek Chaerin appeared, questioning what he was doing. Surprised by her presence, Kim explained he lived in the neighborhood. As she turned to leave, Kim called out to stop her. He made an unusual request, asking her to slap him to test his gold card's effects. Chaerin gave him an odd look, asking if he was one of them. When Kim showed confusion at her reference, she asked if he wanted her to curse while slapping him. Before Chaerin could follow through, a group of thugs interrupted them. They were the same students Kim had previously fought and defeated. They announced their intention to avenge their friend Sankyol, who had been knocked unconscious. The confrontation triggered a subquest, offering a silver card for defeating 5 bullies and their boss. Kim felt confident about handling the regular bullies but worried about their leader. Park Sang-hyuk, Sankyol's brother from East Gangbuk High School, stepped forward, an imposing figure with a muscular build. Using peeking, Kim assessed Sang-hyuk's stats: B in strength, C in speed and endurance. All his battle statistics were impressively high. Sang-hyuk mentioned having heard stories about runner Kim Soo-hyun. When Chaerin intervened, asking about their school and telling them to leave, they began harassing her. Kim stepped forward to protect her, declaring she had nothing to do with their dispute. Sankyol responded by punching Kim in the stomach. To everyone's surprise, Kim felt no pain. Instead, he experienced a pleasant sensation from the blow. It was the Master Please card's effect in action. Sankyol continued hitting Kim, enraged by his apparent nonsense in front of a lady. The card's effect stacked 5 times, activating its power. Kim's strength temporarily increased from E to C rank. With his enhanced strength, Kim's punch sent Sang-hyuk flying. He casually explained to Cha-erin that being hit actually felt good. Hearing this, Park Sang-hyuk declared he would make Kim feel good. But Kim stood ready with his increased strength. The subquest began as local bullies joined the fray. They attacked en masse to avenge Sang-hyuk. Kim defended himself with a jab, planning to retreat to a narrow space as before. He was shocked to discover how powerful his strike had become when the recipient immediately lost consciousness. Even while holding back, his punches were now capable of instant knockout. Kim chivalrously asked Cha-erin to close her eyes, claiming such violence wasn't for women to witness. After defeating all the bullies, Park Sang-hyuk praised Kim's display of power, revealing it was a test to assess his abilities. Kim knew he couldn't let Sang-hyuk land any hits, as it could prove dangerous. He launched a straight punch at Sang-hyuk's face, but the impact wasn't as effective as expected. His strength had reverted to E rank. The card's effect had expired, requiring Kim to build it up again from scratch. He endured hit after hit, yet nothing seemed to trigger the ability. While questioning the card's requirements in his mind, another blow landed. When Kim asked Sang-hyuk to wait, his opponent scoffed at his foolishness, declaring that time waited for no one. Cha-erin arrived to offer assistance. Despite her presence, Kim continued to take hits. Finally, the ability activated, revealing its true nature. Kim unleashed his fury on Sang-hyuk, having realized the ability's unique trigger. It only activated when the user was both physically beaten and mentally humiliated. This revelation explained the ability's peculiar name, Master, Please. When Sang-hyuk attempted to grab Kim for another attack, Kim cleverly combined his overweight ability with the recovery bean. The combination proved effective, as Sang-hyuk found himself unable to lift his opponent. Kim struck his opponent's vulnerable back, forcing him to the ground while all his abilities remained active. His power had reached a rank matched by equally impressive endurance. Unleashing a relentless barrage of punches, Kim emerged victorious over Sang-hyuk. The victory completed his side quest, earning him a new silver card. The following day at school, Kim contemplated the nature of these quests. He couldn't shake the feeling that someone was deliberately crafting these challenges for him. His thoughts were interrupted by a sudden slap, instantly triggering the Master, Please ability. A furious Cha-erin confronted him about spreading dating rumors. Kim protested his innocence, but the entire school was already buzzing with gossip. Lee's arrival only complicated matters when he questioned if Cha-erin had fallen for Kim after he saved her. Cha-erin responded to this false assumption with a stream of curses. Meanwhile, Ha-juin made his return to school. At East Gangbuk High, Sang-hyuk apologized to Han Jae-ha for tarnishing their school's reputation. He confirmed the rumors about runner Kim Soo-hyun, describing him as someone who feigned innocence while concealing his true nature. Han dismissed Sang-hyuk's concerns, noting that they hadn't expected anything from someone who was no longer considered part of their school gang. When questioned about Kim Soo-hyun's alleged boasts about defeating Han Jae-ha at the Gangbuk meeting, Sang-hyuk assured him of their truth. Han resolved to deal with Kim personally, having awaited such an opportunity. A glimpse of Han's abilities revealed his impressive S-rank speed. Kim, meanwhile, examined his newly acquired silver card, a regular card named Skyrocket. He debated whether to use it immediately. Hwang Dizong, ranked 14th strongest in East Gangbuk, requested permission from Han Jae-ha to handle Kim personally. He argued that Kim didn't deserve the leader's direct attention. Han reminded him of Ha-juin's defeat at Kim's hands. Destiny urged Han to trust in his capabilities, patting his large belly confidently. Han ultimately granted permission for them to confront West Gangbuk. Kim continued to contemplate his new card, resisting the temptation to break it. He knew that breaking virgin cards could become addictive and wanted to avoid forming such a habit. The pressure of completing quests and gathering crew members weighed heavily on his mind. While walking through the dorms, he noticed his torn slippers. As he bent to inspect them, he collided with Cha-erin. In that vulnerable position, he sensed a cold presence behind him. Ha-juin. Kim's friendly inquiry about Ha-juin's well-being was met with cold dismissal. A new side quest appeared, offering a silver card as reward for recruiting Ha-juin into his crew. Though it seemed nearly impossible, Kim decided to attempt it for the card's sake. He boldly approached Ha-juin before everyone, extending an invitation to join his crew. Ha-juin's silence spoke volumes, and Kim departed without pressing further. Later, while discussing the Ha-juin situation with Kuza, A freshman interrupted with news about Lee Hyundong's capture by East Gangbuk High bullies. Kim suggested involving the police, but the freshman continued rambling about gangs and fighting. Dismissing the matter, Kim boarded a bus with Kuza. During the ride, Kuza questioned Kim's decision to abandon his underling. Kim explained his reluctance to face Han Jae-ha and pointed out the absence of any quest related to the situation. As Kim enjoyed the pleasant weather, Lee endured a beating at the hands of East Gangbuk High's bullies. Lee faced questioning about his allegiance to those in power. They pointed out his pattern, first following Ha-juin, then switching to Kim Soo-hyun after Ha-juin's defeat. His critics suggested he would simply switch masters again if Kim were to fall. Hyundong Lee rose to his feet and shared a metaphor. A clever bird disguises itself in a tree and builds its nest there. With quiet conviction, he declared that he had found his tree and would never leave it. There would be no other master he would serve. Knowing Kim wouldn't arrive in time to save him, Lee asked Dizong to finish him. Dizong handed Lee a metal rod, challenging him to strike without hesitation. Lee's attack with the rod had no effect on Dizong, who didn't even flinch. One of the bullies kicked Lee aside. As they prepared to attack Lee, Dizong urged them to finish him off. Suddenly, Kim burst onto the scene, sending one of the bullies flying with a punch and saving Lee Hyundong. Kim shouted at Lee in frustration, saying he'd caused trouble but had also managed to make Kim care about him. He promised to somehow get them out of this situation. The opponents sized up Kim, clearly disappointed by his small stature and demeanor. Using his peaking ability, Kim assessed their stats. Most were unremarkable, but Dizong possessed an A+ in endurance. Kim questioned whether his current card combinations would be enough to defeat Dizong and his crew. Comparing their stats directly, the initial assessment heavily favored Dizong. Face to face, Dizong promised Kim a severe beating. Kim's attention wasn't on the threat, but on Dizong's imposing height that far exceeded his reach. He realized targeting the face would be ineffective. He couldn't generate enough power at that height. Dizong's A+ endurance would only compound the challenge. Removing his shirt, Dizong ordered his underlings to stand back, declaring he would handle Kim personally. Kim found some courage in facing Dizong one-on-one. He launched a straight punch at Dizong's stomach, but it proved ineffective. Shocked to see Dizong's bulk absorbing his strikes, Kim unleashed a frenzied barrage of punches that still had no effect. As Kim attempted to punch Dizong's face, Dizong countered with a devastating stomach blow. Hyundong called out that the difference in their weight classes was too great. Kim knew he had a way to overcome this obstacle. He tried to activate his overraid ability, only to realize it was still on cooldown. 24 hours hadn't passed since its last use. He had used it the previous night and would need to wait another hour. Dizong grabbed Kim by the neck and slammed him to the ground. Expressing disappointment in the supposedly legendary runner Kim Soo-hyun of West Gangbuk, Dizong lost interest and ordered his subordinates to finish the job. When Lee tried to protect Kim, he nearly got struck down. At that crucial moment, Ha-juin arrived, kicking away the bullies. He reminded Kim of their conversation at school about being crewmates. Kim admitted he saw Ha-juin as someone he could rely on. Ha-juin removed his shirt and declared he would handle the situation as Kim Soo-hyun's cousin. With that, Ha-juin officially became Kim's crewmate. The side quest completed, granting Kim a silver card. Kim immediately revealed the card's power. Meanwhile, Ha-juin confronted Dizong. Instead of fighting himself, Ha-juin announced that Kim would be Dizong's opponent. He explained that Kim hadn't properly warmed up yet. Runner Kim Soo-hyun used the Bean of Recovery, restoring his energy to full. A new subquest appeared, promising a gold card for achieving a combo with different cards. Energized by the new quest, Kim prepared for round 2. He deliberately took repeated hits to activate the Master Please card effect. The card activation increased his strength attribute from E to C rank. His straight punch now pushed Dizong back, inflicting significant damage. Determined to win, Kim activated the Skyrocket card and leaped to an incredible height. Though Dizong prepared to grab him mid-air, Kim had other plans. He rotated in the air and activated his newly acquired Silver Card's attack ability. Kim's Taekwondo kick, empowered by his C-rank strength, connected squarely with Dizong's face and knocked him unconscious. The subquest completion triggered immediately. Kim revealed the gold card without hesitation. To his surprise, 2 cards materialized instead of 1. He would need to choose between them. As Dizong lay unconscious, Ha-juin ordered his underlings to remove him from the scene. That evening, Kim retreated to his room, seeking rest after the intense confrontation. He pulled out the 2 gold cards to examine his options. The first was card content, granting the ability to foresee his next card acquisition. The second, a disposable card called Meet and Greet, offered something more intriguing, a chance to meet the card challenger possessing the highest level card. Kim was stunned to learn that cards beyond diamond level existed. Questions flooded his mind, but exhaustion from the fighting overwhelmed his curiosity. He decided to postpone his choice until after resting at East Gangbuk High. Meanwhile, the seniors advised Dizong to leave school and return home. They warned that Han Jae-ha wouldn't let this incident slide. They suggested he live as if dead, his only chance for survival. Dizong agreed to retreat, but fate had other plans. Han's voice cut through the air. He inquired about Dizong's condition with false concern. Dizong fell to his knees, begging for forgiveness. He explained that victory had been within reach until Hajuin's interference. He pleaded for one last chance, but Han remained unmoved. The next day at school, Kim expressed his gratitude to Hajuin and questioned his motives for helping. Hajuin remained cryptic, simply warning Kim to watch East Gangbuk carefully. Kim suggested they could defeat Han Jae-ha with proper planning. Hajuin cautioned him about underestimating Han Jae-ha. He wasn't a simple-minded thug like the others. He described Han as a calculated leader who defied typical expectations. A flashback revealed Han's true nature. Rather than striking Dizong immediately, he had calmly requested detailed information about Kim Soo-hyun. He wanted to know everything: Kim's mannerisms, habits, fighting style, and strengths. Only after gathering this intelligence did Han deliver Dizong's punishment, a brutal kick to the stomach. Armed with knowledge of his enemy, Han prepared for confrontation. The revelation of Han's A+ intelligence rating added another layer of threat. Back at West Gangbuk, freshmen swarmed Kim with congratulations. Confused, Kim questioned their excitement. Lee explained that Kim had earned a new nickname, the Cannibal Runner Kim Soo-hyun, for defeating Hwang Dizong. They discussed territorial control, noting that while Kim didn't control any area yet, they could target the 13th-ranked thug's territory for expansion. Kim's thoughts returned to the fundamental questions about the quest system, its origin, purpose, and ultimate goal. Driven by curiosity, he chose the Meet and Greet card. Upon activation, the world around him emptied. No one remained in class, school, or beyond. A giant card materialized in the sky, greeting him. It promised to answer his burning questions one by one. The card summoned a mysterious figure who praised Kim's fortune in obtaining the Meet and Greet card at his current level. Kim realized the quests weren't random. Someone was orchestrating them. The voice claimed they had met before but questioned Kim's worthiness for a special task. When Kim inquired about this task, the voice withheld details. Instead, it issued a challenge: prove himself by uniting East Gangbuk and South Gangbuk high schools.